Moving right on to loser semis, we have Barzhad versus Hexer. Barzhad nice enough to play against Hexer, who was playing from China just like MKX was, despite the fact that Hexer was DQ'd out of the winner's side for being in the completely wrong region for this tournament. But without further ado, let's get into it.
今回のゲームマスターはお前なのかラムダデルタ
Battler Willard, a very balanced team versus Lambda and Shannon, which is, unless I'm mistaken, focused almost entirely around set play strats. Lambda seems like she wants to be a zoner, but she's actually a very pressure-heavy character, as you can kind of see the start off with that hop. The AI plays her like she's a grappler. But Barzhad doing quite well, not getting put in the set play. Breaks Lambda's guard right off the bat. Pushes Hexer all the way to the corner here. Hexer tries to get something going with the metal rope, but ends up just getting pushed back into the corner again. Barsh using that rather ridiculous Battler EXDP. That is only -2, and it does have, I think, a tiny bit of invuln, so you can just spam it endlessly if you've got the meter. You'll see people use that for chip kills or guard breaks rather often. Alright, Barsh going into Meta World, straight into an attempted cross-up, but whiffs and gets punished for it. So effectively just puts himself in the corner. Time for Hexer to try and get some shenanigans started, but doesn't really land the overhead into nothing. Oh, now we're back into it. Hexer with the meta declare, no meter on Barsh's side to reject. Here comes some Shannon pressure. Oh, we're gonna see the crazy combo? No. I was greedy to even hope for an infinite or something there. Tags in the battler, uses that overhead to get a few hits. Oh, the cross under DP. That's Lambda into the corner, and Barzhad closes it out quite quickly. I feel like Barzhad kind of had the momentum for most of that match, aside from for a few of those Meta World scenarios, but the health was actually pretty even in the end. Alright. Just the score, that's 1-0 Barzhad. Barzhad maybe, I'm bad with pronouncing things, I admit. I apologize if I'm pronouncing all the players' names wrong. Anyway, back into it. They're starting just off playing a little bit more like the zoner that Lambda appears to be there, tossing some candy. It's a decent number of hits, and almost half a bar off the battler with it. But they're kind of slowly retreating to the corner here, so... Oh! Got out of the corner with the fancy George roll. So he's traded Shannon for George, which... people sometimes call George a poor man's battler, but he's still a much more neutral-oriented character than I feel like Shannon can be. Oh, don't know what's happening here. We have a desync. Did ChinaNet hit us? Kind of just jabbing at the air. That was interesting. So for those not familiar with Ccaster and pullback netcode, that can happen where something doesn't quite roll back the same amount for both players, and you get desynced, and people just sit there hitting buttons against each other without... yeah. A very weird scenario. Even if this is a desync though, you might notice that Battler has not tagged out in a hot minute. So even with the desync, I imagine that Barge probably should have noticed Battler sitting on 0 meter here and attempted to run back to, there it is, to Willard, who can actually reject a Meta World declaration or something if it comes. Granted, Hexer hasn't really tagged out either, and so he also cannot declare meta. A very weird scenario in which both players sat on 0 bars and poked at each other. Long story short, it does appear, regardless of what they were actually thinking or doing, we had a replayed desync there. Again, Hex playing from China. But that result you see displayed is correct. They reported that Barzhad won 2-0. So, overcame the cross-Pacific Ocean delay to pull out a win and advance to losers finals.